How's it going, everyone? Bandai have just announced that they're opening pre-orders for a bunch of different figures. I'm going to focus on the SH Figuarts one. There are just a few of those that really kind of interest me. These are all opening on the 1st of August, so very, very soon. And they all kind of come out later this year from October until the end of this year. Some might fall into maybe next year. But I'm only going to focus on a handful here, but there's quite a few waves. So it's basically their Q4 lineup for 2024. So again, August 1st, mark your calendars. Look at your whatever regular retailer that you like to use. These are just the Japanese dates I tend to go with. But let's first start with what I feel is the coolest figure. Well, the one that relates to me anyway. Just what I think is coolest is the My Hero Academia Izuku Midoriya, aka Deku figure. Now, I've dropped out of that anime and manga a long time ago. Like, I don't actually really know this particular look of the character. But this figure looks very, very cool. I really like the way this figure looks. We've got the amazing Yamaguchi version, which looks great as well. But Yamaguchi is not everyone's cup of tea, and it does kind of take some stylistic liberties, which some people like, some people don't. I don't mind it personally. But this one kind of leans into that whole anime or manga aesthetics a little bit closer, I think. But it still looks good. You know, I think both figures look good. But this one here is looking super solid. It's not the first part. That's one I'm most familiar with. But for you guys who are still sticking with this series, which I believe is ending soon, that's what I've read, this is looking super, super good. Key details first. So this comes out in December of 2024, and it's going to be 7,700 yen with tax included. Of course, price is going to vary depending on where you buy it from. And as I said, this version of the figure is based on the character from a little bit later into the kind of series. So he's kind of wearing that cowl or scarf muffler around his neck. He's looking a little bit different in terms of proportions. He's not really a kid anymore. Hair's shorter as well from what I can see. He comes with a few different option parts as well other than the scarf. He's got some effect parts for the eyes and the hands. I don't know if this is from like the Punished Deku thing that happened. Like I stopped reading even before that, but there's a point in the series where he kind of turns into this bitter kind of heartless sort of thing, right? But I don't know if this is after that or right next to that. But then I think he's still got the same kind of leg additions because he has the kind of additional kind of power up of the suit upgrade to the legs he has. So the boots are bigger. He's got kind of very Kingdom Heartsy over proportioned feet, I guess. I don't know if that's any different in this particular point in the series, but it looks very cool. Like everything about this figure looks very good. All his outfit looks good. His proportions look good. From what I can tell, it looks good. I think he just looks very, very cool. So I'm quite keen to get my hands on this if I can. I don't know which of these figures from Q4 Bandai Wave I'm going to get, to be honest, but this one is definitely the one that kind of stands out to me the most. It just looks very, very cool. So yeah, let me know if you're going to get this. I think this guy is going to be very, very popular for sure. And they did also announce Bakugo as well, and I believe it's the same point in time. So he's got a slightly different look from what I'm more familiar with, where he's earlier in the series. So Bakugo is a bit more kind of decked out in black rather than dark green, and he looks cool as well. That one hasn't got a release date, but I'm going to assume that might even be January, maybe February, maybe even March. But once they have a release date, I'll put that on my channel as well and let you guys know. Moving on from Deku, we're going to talk about Wolverine from the recent Deadpool Wolverine movie, which I haven't seen yet at the time of making this video, and I'm hoping to see that soon. But he looks cool in the movie. This is based on that. Based on kind of experience with SH Figuarts MCU stuff, there's probably some differences with this figure versus what they typically have in the movie as the final costume. I would not be surprised if that's the case here. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison yet, but for now, the promo shots look pretty good. I like the outfit in general. The figure looks good. He is quite tall, but then so is Hugh Jackman, and that's what they're basing him off of. It's not the same kind of short stature Wolverine, comic accurate Wolverine in this case, but he looks very cool. I like the yellow, I like the blues. The general details on the suit look very good. The textured suit is not bad, but I've echoed this opinion to many people. Like, I kind of don't like the whole the look that every superhero goes to the same tailor kind of look. But in this case, because it's X-Men, they probably do have a common tailor, actually. But this is kind of like every Marvel, DC, everyone basically uses the same bubbly texture look, which the basketball texture look, which I think we can kind of move away from slowly, I think. Plus all the paneling details that all these updated modern superheroes kind of use, which, you know, on the side, I don't like when they do it for Spider-Man, for example. But with Wolverine here, this figure, it doesn't look bad. Like I said, it looks pretty good. There is notably no unmasked head with this figure, though. So there's no Hugh Jackman head sculpt. Chances are they could release one later, which does include that. Doesn't mean that is going to happen, though, because it's the whole face likeness thing, an actor likeness thing, so there's no guarantee it could happen. If it was an anime figure, I would say just wait for a version with the unmasked head. But because it's an actor based one, no guarantee that will happen. So if you're fine with the mask, then it's cool. The mask looks not bad, it's okay. The eyes do seem a little bit kind of, maybe a little bit high up, and then maybe a little bit too white, I guess, like bright white on the eyes. Maybe they need a little bit of silver tint to them. Hard to say from these promo shots. It doesn't look bad either way. I still think the figure in general looks pretty cool. And if you collect the MCU stuff, then this is going to be a nice addition. I would say a nice addition. Of course, alongside this, you are going to get Deadpool. Deadpool's coming out as well, and he looks like he's going to have a brighter red suit. I don't know if he's going to be too different from the Deadpool 1 and 2 figures that they released some years ago. Probably is mostly going to be the same, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. To be honest, I probably won't get any of these. I'm trying to limit what I get for MCU stuff now. I'd rather lean towards the comic book stuff. That's just kind of what I grew up with, and that's the kind of style I tend to prefer. Pricing wise and details for this guy though, Wolverine is 9,900 yen. It's probably still cheap when you convert it into US dollars and pounds, but it's still kind of expensive as a retail price. MCU figures, I think, tend to be a little bit on the higher side. I believe Deadpool is going to be a little bit higher as well. He's coming out also in December of this year, and I believe Deadpool either December or November, something like that. I haven't really looked at the Deadpool one because I don't really like the character that much. But yeah, this is the Wolverine from Deadpool Wolverine. Looks pretty good. Next up, we've got Isidro from Berserk. So Berserk is a very, very adult-only anime and manga. Most popular for the manga, which unfortunately the mangaka passed away quite recently, so don't know how that's going to end. To be honest, I only really kind of blitzed through the manga quite recently, probably last year sometime, and I did enjoy it. It's extremely dark though, and sometimes I think, I'm not sure how to think. I'm still a bit conflicted by it in some ways, but I did enjoy it. But here we've got Isidro now joining Guts, Griffith, and Shirk as SH Figure Arts figures. He's gonna come with a few different parts, not too many. So he comes with his two weapons, so the dagger, the sword, the short sword specifically, and then he comes with a small kind of optional part of Puck, which I think is just, it doesn't really articulate, it just kind of sticks on a little stand from the promo shots. Isidro is going to be an interesting one because I don't think many people kind of expected that one to happen, but it looks like they're going through the core kind of characters of Berserk. I do recall people did have issues with Guts himself, some QC issues, so I don't know if reissues have fixed that, or if people are waiting for a 2.5 or 2.0 or 1.5 version to kind of fix that. I still haven't opened my Guts actually. And yeah, so this kind of joins those guys as well as Griffiths as well. I don't think I mentioned that he was also released in the past as well. I don't know if this is going to be a good figure. It looks okay, nothing that I particularly like, but because it's Berserk, I'm just going to mention it, and I know a lot of people like that kind of property and that IP. So Isidro is joining the SH Figure Arts line. He's coming out also in December. He's actually 9,900 yen with tax as well. Obviously, again, repeating, prices would vary depending on where you buy it from, but 9,000 yen is quite expensive for him, actually, now that I think about it, versus, you know, even the MCU Wolverine, which is a slightly bigger figure, more appealing in my opinion. But yeah, very interesting that this Isidro figure is that expensive actually. Then we've got Zoro from One Piece, and this is from the earlier part of the series. Now again, I'm going to put my hands up. I couldn't get into One Piece, but I do like Zoro, and I like his voice actor, and I like the overall look of him. I think he's a very cool looking character, whether it's kind of the beginning part, middle part, or whatever. I think he's always got a very cool look to him. Plus, he's got 3 swords, right? So he looks very cool, and I think people are going to be very happy that he's finally getting his basic look. It might be too basic, though, because it's just the kind of sash that he wears around his midsection, black pants, and a white top, right? And then a bandana. So really, it's just the 3 swords that are speaking for this guy. He looks good, though, and I think if we compare it to the more recent Zoro that came out, that one was like a soft plastic, long kind of robe. And that one probably, I didn't open my one, but I know that's going to cause issues for some people. It did cause issues for some people. Just range of motion kind of was lacking there. Some people changed theirs for soft goods, custom soft goods one. So this one, he's going to have that freedom of movement for the legs and that bottom half portion for sure. Promo shots display that quite clearly. He looks like a very lanky figure, which is kind of true to the character itself. He looks cool. I probably won't get it because I just, I couldn't get into One Piece. So for the sake of saving money, I think I'm not going to get it. But it still looks cool. And I'm going to mention it because One Piece is a big property, and I'm sure people want to know about it. So he is actually coming out in February of 2025, so there's quite some time for him, and he's going to cost 7,700 yen. So not bad for him, though he's a little bit light on the option parts outside of the 3 swords. Moving on to the Dragon Ball franchise, so there's a new anime coming out, Dragon Ball Daima, which I'm still need to kind of catch up on what exactly that is, whether it's a movie or a TV series. I've seen just kind of clips of the trailer, looked interesting, looks like it's going for a younger demographic, and they're doing figures of it so soon as well. So you've got Goku, who's coming out on October of this year. I think that's when the series starts as well, actually. He's going to be around 4,000 yen, not bad price, he's a much smaller figure as well. This is Goku kind of with that whole child and chibi look to it. Not super chibi, but still chibi. And yeah, it looks like Kid Goku, to be honest, or, Goten, or, Dragon Ball GT Goku. Just, Goku as a child form, right? So, yeah, he looks good. Outfit's slightly different to what you kind of see from before. He's got a new kind of Daima outfit, but it still kind of leans very close to his usual orange jumpsuit as well. But this time less on the kind of orange side and more on the, sunny delight looking side maybe, and brighter blues as well. It really looks like they're kind of leaning towards a much more younger kid demographic with this kind of visual look. Again, the content might be different and might be quite mature, I don't know, but I'm going to check out the anime. But he looks cool. He looks like a nice, cute little figure. It's an SH Figure Arts, though, as well, so I really liked Kid Goku and Kid Gohan as SH Figure Arts figures. Those are 2 of my favorite figures I've got in my entire collection, and those 2 I don't want to get rid of or sell anytime soon, because I just really liked the form of them and how much articulation packed into such a tiny form factor. And it looks like this Goku could have similar, if not the same. Just the knees that I can't remember exactly if they're going to be different here. They look a bit different. But yeah, this looks like a cool figure. It comes with his power pole and then the holder for his power pole. So not like a huge variety of stuff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they reissue this later on, or many versions later, or even DLC kind of stuff with different option parts with different characters. So this is Goku. And then we've got Vegeta's coming out in November following Goku. Same price, just under 4,000 yen including tax. He looks okay. He looks a little bit more... He looks really familiar. And don't say he looks like Vegeta, duh. No, he looks really like one of those PJ Masks sort of characters, those Western CG cartoons for kids. There's something about this guy that he just looks incredibly familiar. Or maybe it's... what's that guy's name in Incredibles? Syndrome. He looks a little bit like Syndrome. It's his head sculpt. I think he's got that kind of syndrome-y looking chubbiness to it. So this is interesting. I do think the Goku looks much better. I'm a bigger fan of Vegeta, but the Goku, I would say, so far, promo shots, that one looks much better. Outside of the optional hand, this Vegeta doesn't look like it comes with a lot, so I'm kind of conflicted now whether these are going to be pretty bare bones figures, which is fine if that's going to be the case, or if they're just going to do the whole One Piece situation and everything later on in the future is going to have DLC. You have to buy X figure to get Y part, and that's going to be very, I won't be down for that. To be honest, I don't know if I'll get these anyway, but I think, yeah, they look pretty good. Joining those 2 is going to be Piccolo as well. He comes out in December, but surprisingly, he costs over 7,000 yen. Yeah, he's a bigger figure, but that's a bit of a price jump as well. Maybe it's because of his soft goods mantle. Maybe that's why. But he looks cool. And that's the 3 of the Dragon Ball Daima figures coming this year. This is just some of the stuff that's opening for pre-order on 1st of August. You do have reissues of Trunks and Frieza and his pod, as well as other properties like Ultraman. So be sure to check on 1st of August and get your pre-orders in. Let me know down in the comments what figures you're planning to pre-order, what you're planning to pass. Maybe you're planning to wait for reissues or better versions of something down the road, like that Wolverine.